Hello. So I thought I'd talk to you this morning about the pearl and give you a little tidbit. When the pearl originally came through as a download, as a transmission, it came kind of merged in with the Venus sequence. And it was a sequence, I understood it slightly differently through geometries. And the pearl itself, which is a position of the planet Jupiter before you were born, 88 degrees before you were born. This is, in human design terms, it would be called your unconscious Jupiter. It's a very magical position. Sorry, it's your conscious Jupiter. So it is the position of Jupiter when you're born. It's a very magical position, but only in terms of the sequence. So, you know, as an astrologer, you might look at that position and make all kinds of interpretations, but without understanding the whole sequence of all the other planetary activations and what they lead up to in the storyline, you don't fully understand what that pearl really represents without looking at the whole sequence and the narrative of your inner life and its evolution. So the pearl represents a finale, a culmination, a harvest. And many people will look at it and it's in a very exciting geometry within the whole. When you look at the golden path, it sits there within that triangle. It forms the nexus of an advanced kind of expansion of the pearl called the star pearl, which you'll learn more about in the future. So it's the crystallization, in a way, of the entire golden path. So it's really important. And I often say to people, you know, don't really bother looking at your pearl. I mean, it's interesting. It's kind of, people do, because it's there. It sits there in the middle, and you want to know, well, what is that? But when I say that, I say it half jokingly, because it's a harvest. So it only comes as the culmination of everything else. So for you to look at your pearl and that gene key of your pearl and the line, and to contemplate it, you're really looking at the future, the finale of your individuation, your journey of individuation. For most people, it's the future. But in another level, it's the now, because it's inside you, and it is useful to contemplate it, because even though you might be contemplating your future, you're contemplating it in the now. And so you're actually irradiating it, and it might give you something precious. So here's my tidbit. In the old days, as I was doing Venus sequence and pearl, I used to call that point, the pearl, I used to call it the release of miracles. And I was thinking about that recently. It came back into my memory, and I realized that actually that is exactly what it is, because it sits like a spider in the middle of this quantum web, and all the work you do in your golden path, all the contemplative breakthroughs, the insights, the epiphanies, they all lead to this crystallization in the pearl. But more than that, they also lead to a release of what we would call miracles on various levels and dimensions of reality, because it sits where it sits in the middle of everything. And so at a certain point, when you have attained a kind of inner equilibrium through unraveling your golden path, and your sacred wound, the core, and your vocation is beginning to shine out, and you're aligned with your culture, and your brand has been refined so that everything is really fitting beautifully, then this pearl begins to dawn. And all those other things got to rely on all those other things. The EQ is in a state of balance with the IQ. The attractor field is clean and magnetizing, the synchronicity field of your aura. Your purpose, you're anchored in that. You know, you've had deep breakthroughs from your activation sequence, and your challenge is something that you are embracing wholeheartedly. When all these things, these ingredients, and your SQ is shining, and softening across your heart, when all these things are balanced and humming along, then the pearl begins to crystallize and dawn. I often say the pearl dawns. And it's a trigger point in a way. There's a trigger that gets released. Miracles get released because the synchronicity field that is the collective consciousness that the pearl represents begins to be triggered. And so things and people and events that are connected to you through chains of Dharma begin to unravel. That's what it is. It's like an unraveling of the weave and the tapestry of your inner life. A whole series of events as your true Dharma begins to kind of unravel before your eyes. And it seems magical because it seems like this grace is touching all these different areas of your life and all these people you're connected to. And it's traveling through the fractal lines, the grace. It's opening and popping people and opening doorways and possibilities and opportunities that have been waiting, that have been up until now closed or dormant. So when you come into this space of grace, and may grace grant that you all do, because you all will one day, it's just each person has their own timing, then I think it would be a very beautiful thing for you to be contemplating this. So look at your pearl, look at the line, and allow your intuition to travel into that, and just rest on it and feel the buzz and the vibration of what will be released, because there's a code in there that will release all those miracles. And what is that code? Something has to happen inside you. And when that thing happens, it's not only inside you, that grace has to unlock it around you. Often it's in others, and miraculous things, forgivings and whatever they are, whatever form they take, that siddhi, that shadow, that gift in that siddhi, that's going to catalyze all manner of magical currents and miracles in your life. I sound like a soothsayer, but I can guarantee you that this is true. Enjoy this contemplation.